Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for joining the show today. Every year for the past 8 years, Mike Feurstein has come from New York. He is a partner in the Don't Wait Project, which is the nonprofit that I founded. He developed a program that is aimed at educating students about bullying and their role in bullying. And he created a program that allows them to write, produce, direct, and star in their own PSAs. He's here today. Thanks for being here.
As always, glad to be.
So let's just explain a little bit. Mike's here from New York. Mm-hmm. You've done the program. We met
had to be 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah. And at the time, he'd done the program in one school, and we've taken you under the umbrella of the Don't Wait Project because you fit our mission. And now 22 schools this year?
Just about, yeah.
Around there?
Filled up the whole school year. Really,
yeah, pretty much, with just like maybe the winter breaks and spring break and things. So the idea you had, just tell people a little bit about how you got started doing the UnMake a Bully that became Don't Wait to UnMake a Bully program.
I'd made some videos with kids in the past for school projects and events and things like that, but a parent saw what we were doing with anti-bullying videos in a school district in upstate New York and said, hey, why don't you do the same thing with our school but in a week? And I was thinking, well, it took
over a week's time.
Yeah. It took us 4 months to make the video that she was referring to. So I was thinking, how can I squeeze 4 months into a week? And she and I kind of hashed it out, and we came up with this structure of what we're using now. It was a loose structure, and I kind of tightened it over the years. But thanks to that parents' interest and the kids being awesome that we worked with that year, we're now 9 years later with two separate subject programs going on now, which we had the opportunity to test out this year, from the bullying one to media, all about media.
Media responsibility.
Yeah.
So how it works is Mike works in the classroom on Mondays for 90 minutes with 3 different classrooms. They do anti-bullying instruction, education. Shows you bring in your cool camera, your film quality camera, and show them all the gear and let them start to think about the job they want. And then on Tuesday, you do more instruction and help them write the script and allow them to choose their jobs.
Well, they tell us their stories. So that's a big important part, is that they dig deep and tell their stories of times when they faced things that weren't so great, or they caused things not so great to other kids. And we throw that all on the board. And
throw it all on the board is really impressive. I've watched you do it many times, and throwing it on the board is literally almost every single thing that they say, raising their hand, every bit of input, and then the process of elimination. You take that whole almost entire 90 minutes of just like, let's make sure it's your story.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right. That's the remarkable part of it all.
And the kids will see that we even borrow from each story sometimes. And so it may not be their main story, but they see a little part of it that was from their story.
And each student gets to feel that way. Yeah. It's 4th through 12th graders. So right now, you're here because you're working with Wenatchee School District, Entiat School District, and Kashmir School District. And we've been in Wenatchee and Kashmir School District all the way through. We've had some opportunities to work with other districts in the area, and also Entiat for several years now. So what happens now is a culmination of all of that storytelling is put into a PSA form, and we have done a premiere for many years. Every year you put together a premiere of all of these classrooms, so it's 9 different classrooms, 3 per district, and then they're viewed, and the Performing Arts Center has been so kind to generously donate their venue every year. There was a conflict in the schedule this year that couldn't be avoided. So Wenatchee Valley College was kind enough to loan us their Grove Recital Hall, which they also donated to us, that we're not having to pay for. So
I think that's also a testament
amazing.
To the area. There's a community behind it when they're at the school. There's a community behind their finished product, and hopefully the community comes out and sees it. Open free for all, right?
Yeah, everyone's invited. It's free. It's at the Grove Recital Hall. It'll be on Thursday, November 14th, beginning at 6:30. Takes about an hour. We show behind the scenes footage. I put together a picture montage from the weeks that you've spent here, and then
bloopers. There's bloopers.
As well. Yeah, the kids have a lot of fun. There's someone with a behind the scenes camera that goes around and is filming everything as it's happening, in addition to filming what's scripted.
And I think that's the important part to say, is that every single thing you see on screen, except for the editing, I do some of the editing, the kids have done. The kids have done all of it, and pretty much you might expect it wouldn't be quality because it's all kid handled, and some people have said, oh, well, it's what it must be like. But they come see it, you look up at the screen, and it's brilliantly professional, and sometimes there's effects, and the acting is out of this world from kids who've never done it before. And I think that's a really cool component that many people don't realize is going on.
Right, and I think too, the diversity too over the years, what happens is it becomes kind of a rite of passage, right? The students aren't quite in 4th grade, but their brother or sister or their friend got to do it, and then, you know, maybe next year their school or classroom is selected. And so adding that media responsibility element, it was kind of like our answer, yours specifically, to the times have changed even in the last 8 years that we've been doing this. And the responsibility in the media and just how you go about it. If you can just briefly share that element of education.
Of which part?
The media part that you've added to what's happening.
Yeah, so now some schools have taken us on, I mean, most schools we work with have taken us on year after year. And occasionally when I leap to the higher grades, I see the same kids that, you know, we've worked with in the past in elementary schools. So I try to think of a way to make it a little different. They're still making a movie and it's still about them, but what can we talk about other than bullying that kind of is a nice offshoot of that, and where does it come from, where does it lead? And thinking about media and how advertisers and influencers on Instagram, YouTubers and people that these kids look up to that we never had. We never had people our own age, millionaire celebrities on YouTube telling us what to do. So how to navigate that and how to even be that. Like some kids want to be a YouTube star. Well, we're going to give you the tools needed to, you know, not make a big mistake that you're going to regret later. Or look at other people and think, well, I'm not like that person, but that's okay. Like comparing yourselves to others is going to happen, but not letting that affect who you want to become in the future. You know, looking at a TV commercial with a celebrity doesn't make you think you have to be like that celebrity. We're telling them how you can sort of watch it, absorb it, but not let it make you
internalize it.
Yeah,
right.
There you go. Yeah, I was trying to find a way around.
The word internalize it.
There's a lot. It's a half-hour program so that's winding it up into 10 seconds.
Right, exactly. And that's the part that I think has been, it's why schools have, the only time a school has not brought us back is because of budget.
Yeah.
It's never been because the program lacked what they needed. And you have all the credit for that.
And
you're the one in the schools working with the kids, and I do everything that isn't that. And that's why it's been such a good partnership for so long.
On your side as well, we help with the budget sometimes. We try to help them find grants they can write for us and things like that. So it's
sometimes if they can't make it work, we try to make sure that we give them all the information they can for a grant, and they seem to come through.
And many of them have grabbed it by both horns, and
Yeah, there's always there's always a parent or a teacher or administrator saying, let's keep the program here. So I just want to, give you my appreciation for coming out here, getting on a plane. We also have a local person who donates their house to you every single year. And that's nice too. So it's been good. And so we invite the whole community to the premiere. Coming up on the show in just a minute, we're going to have a couple of students who have participated, as well as a teacher from Lincoln Elementary, and we'll get to share their story and their experience, and just really hope the community embraces this coming up November 14th.
Yeah, please come.
At the Grove Recital Hall, it's completely free. You get to see the kids' hard work and see it on a big screen, which they love. So we'll be back in just a minute.
All right, thanks.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. We're back. Thanks for watching the show today. We had in the first segment Mike Feurstein. He's here from New York. He developed the program UnMake a Bully, and then we brought it into the Don't Wait Project because it fits our mission. It is now called Don't Wait to Unmake a Bully. He is here for 3 weeks working in Kashmir, Iniat, and Wenatchee school districts. We have a premiere of the student PSAs that will take place at Wenatchee Valley College. They've donated their venue, the Grove Recital Hall, this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. on November 14th. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to now visit with Kadie Rang. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You are an elementary school teacher at Lincoln Elementary.
Yes.
And you have participated in the program with Mike and the students, and we're so excited that you're here. And one of the reasons we asked you to come is because you actually participated last year, and we'll get to in a little bit about the impact that it still has in your classroom with your students.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's go back to last year when you were selected. Wenatchee has a process for selecting classrooms, so it's pretty random. It seems random, but there's a method to the decision making. So how did you get selected for your classroom, and what was your anticipation? What did you think it would be like compared to what it actually was?
So we had many classrooms from Lincoln have done it before, and the application asks why you want to have this opportunity. And I had a student who struggled a little bit coming back into the classroom after having kind of a reputation of being a bully. And I thought it would be perfect. And so I wrote up that story, and they chose us. And so we were excited to have them come, and we used that as our storyline.
So when you, so then you met Mike last year, and you know the kids love Mr. Mike.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Mike is a celebrity.
He's so good at what he does.
Yes.
He's so good at what he does. So Mike, what is your goal when you come into a classroom? We don't know why they're selected, but when you come into the classroom, what is day one, moment one, what are you trying to do from the beginning?
Well, the first thing I have to do is make sure they know that I'm a fun person that's not going to cause them any trouble.
Tell them what to do.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they're comfortable to share and also to listen, because I have to talk for like 45 straight minutes about the tenets of our program and of what bullying is, and that's a lot. That's a lecture almost, but I try to make it interactive. So it's really to have fun with some serious material and building toward obviously helping students like who she mentioned have a breakthrough, or at least have a little thought in their mind that, wow, there's another way to think about the problems I'm having or I've given to others, you know. So it's a lot of stuff kind of swirling around in my head at once, and then also just trying to get to know, 25 to 30 new people every 90 minutes.
And it is a true education, because there are things about the program that students come away from it thinking, wow, I didn't realize that I was bullying. I didn't realize that I was a target. I didn't realize that I could have been, someone who helped in that situation. So were you surprised by the education component of it?
I loved that part. I didn't expect it or know about it. And so when he came in and talked about the target and not standing up for the bully and not using that term of targeting people as a bully, was great. Yeah.
Explain what she means by that.
Oh yeah, so I kind of reassigned the language a bit. So instead of calling someone a bully, you say person who bullies, because it's really about identifying behavior rather than trying to change a person, which is a hard thing to do, to just say change who you are. But if you can tell them what they're doing and make them understand that that's wrong and there's another way, then that's a little easier route into changing it. Target instead of victim. People use victim a lot. It's appropriate for other things, but not so much in bullying, because it's kind of a label you wear on yourself days, weeks, months later, and you could have found a way to either, avoid that situation or to change your thinking. So I say consider yourself a target, and the target you can take off when they're not aiming at you, or you can identify which you may have 3 targets on you at any given point in the day, and so what's causing this one, what's causing this one, what's causing this one. They're separate problems. Solve this one, then you have 2. Solve this one, you have 1, right? So try to make it easier to navigate those tough situations we face in elementary and middle school.
So once it got going, the part about the jobs, so the students actually get to kind of choose their first priority, second priority jobs. So director, lighting, sound, the person who holds the slate when it's time to get started. They always really gravitate toward that one. So what was your thought about, and how did you go about helping? Because it helps Mr. Mike if you... Well, we try not to stereotype the kids into a job, because a lot of times they'll say, well, what role would that student fit? And then one of the students you would think would never do a great job as a director ends up shining. So how did you go about that selection process and giving each kid a chance to stand out?
What was amazing is he just asked who wants to be an actor. And we had people, and I had a couple that I was, oh really, that doesn't seem characteristic of you. But he had them stand up and say their name any way they wanted. That was their interview, or their audition. And they did it, and they all were cast into the show, and they got their position that they thought that they would do well in, and they did. They shined. They rose to the occasion.
Well, let me ask you this. So when you're thinking about how you were selected and why you decided to apply to participate in the program, compared to what you hoped would happen to what actually happened, what was your expectation to what you realized to be the truth for your participation?
So I thought it was going to be fun. I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for kids. I didn't realize what impact it would make. I actually made the decision after we did this to stay with my students for 5th grade.
Because of this?
Because we just had that great bond. We shared. We went to the premiere together, and everything came back to UnMakeable. Remember when we did that? Remember when we did that?
Nice job.
It was amazing. I loved it. And so the students, and we're a family, and he shared that with us. You know, we're a family. We're all in this together. We're all going to succeed together. It was great.
So tell me, I have to know, the student that you wanted to participate on his behalf so he could have a breakthrough, did he?
Yeah, he did. He's unfortunately not in our class this year. He moved to a different school district. But I saw some very positive changes in him throughout the year.
One of the things you mentioned too off the air when we were coming in here, you were saying that you still see elements of the program in your students today. Can you give an example?
So just giving people a second chance, and at the very beginning, that was our storyline. And so at the very beginning of the year, we had a morning meeting, and we talked about how this year is going to be better than next year, and we were going to give each other a second chance, and we were going to forget things that happened, and we just continue to bring it up and positive ways.
Every day is a clean slate. I used to really, sometimes kids can dread recess, say, and every new recess is a new slate, right? And it is about trying to avoid those situations and those targets that can happen, and giving yourself the education, the opportunity to have a good life in school. School is so much a part of our lives. We're just trying to help kids navigate that, and it's harder and harder these days, but I commend you, Mike, for listen to what's happening. That's really terrific. Amazing. And it happens throughout the country. We're in schools throughout the country, particularly in New York and Washington.
And not to deflect praise, because I do that all the time, but it also helps working with teachers like Kadie, because you need to take what we've taught and carry it forward and make it part of your classroom climate. We're not a one-stop shop, fix it all in the 9 hours we know those students. It takes dedicated teachers who love and appreciate and respect their kids equally to keep that message going. So thank you as well for.
And we recognize that right away. Just from scheduling to the end result, we can tell who's vested and who isn't, and it always shows up when you're working with the students, because the students are either prepared or they're not. They're excited or they're not. They're participating or they're not. So yeah, that's terrific. Well, I hope you can come to the premiere.
We're hoping, yes, definitely. Yeah.
So the premiere is taking place for this year's PSAs on November 14th. It's Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Grove Recital Hall at Wenatchee Valley College. They've donated their venue this year. We're excited about that. And we invite the entire community. It's free. It's just an hour. You get to see all of the student-produced PSAs and the behind the scenes, which includes bloopers and a lot of fun stuff. So we hope to see you there. When we come back, we're going to talk with Isabella and Libby. They participated last year in Mrs. Rang's classroom. Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. We are taping this show today because we are spending time with students and one teacher and students who participated in the program with Mike Feurstein. He's here from New York. He developed the program UnMake a Bully, and now it's part of the Don't Wait Project, the nonprofit that I founded, because it fits our mission. So it's now called Don't Wait to UnMake a Bully. And he works in schools throughout the country, and about 3 weeks out of every school year he works here locally. He's been producing PSAs with students based on their own bullying experiences. And we've talked about how students are all given a job to write, produce, direct, all part of this development of these PSAs. And we have a premiere coming up of the PSAs that were produced in Wenatchee, Kashmir, and Entiat school districts over the last couple of weeks. It'll be held on Thursday, November 14th at Wenatchee Valley College. They've donated their venue at the Grove Recital Hall at 6:30 till 7:30 p.m. We hope you can make it. It's free. It's a lot of fun. You'll get to see their PSAs as well as behind the scenes footage and their bloopers. It's a good time. So we are recording the show in the evening. I just wanted to point that out because the screen here is showing the live feed from Wenatchee. See that? And usually it's a daytime show, but we're pulling a little nighttime show tonight. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I have Libby
Thanks for having
and
us.
Isabella here with me, and you both participated in the program with your teacher,
Yes.
Mrs. Rang, last year.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Have you been on TV before?
No.
Are you nervous?
Yes, I'm really nervous.
That's understandable. It's going to go by fast. It's just a couple of minutes. So tell me what, let's start with you, Libby. What was the most fun part about last year, and what was your job on the set?
I was an actor, and we did this one scene in the library, and she was sitting next to me, and every time they did like a cut, we would start laughing because of some reason, and it was just really fun.
It's kind of, you're kind of embarrassed at first when you act, right?
Yeah,
and
but then
everyone's
it's just
watching
really
you.
funny.
Then you get used to it. How about you? What was your job?
I was the slate, and it was really hard because I had to hold that and speak really loud, and I had to walk over the camera and all the cables, and they told me to be careful to not step on all the things, so it was really hard.
And you also, so the slate is the thing that you see in the movies that helps them with timing and to know how to sync the footage and things in post-production. So you also keep notes on the slate to let them know what scene and how many takes it took, and then somebody else is taking notes about which of those takes worked out best, and it helps Mr. Mike with the editing process. So you didn't realize how involved the job was going to be.
Yeah, it was really hard. I didn't think it would be that hard because I also had a partner, and we had to take turns, and it was a long time. And one time, I remember I wrote the wrong letter, and then I had to fix it, and it was really horrible, and I felt really bad for that. But
Oh, well, but I'm sure you did a great job. Overall, as long as you have the slate there and he gets to sync the footage, that's the main goal of the job. So good job. So let's talk a little bit about, your teacher was talking about, Mrs. Rang was talking about the changes in the students and how to unmake a bully and the Don't Wait Project's involvement has made it better this year for students. So what's your takeaway? What's your observation of that?
Well, I think it is kind of true because from what Mr. Mike told us, like he gave like a lot of different perspectives of like how it could be happening. Like how Ms. Rank said earlier, there can be like how he said that the person wasn't like the victim because that's how like someone in our class said it when he first asked what it was, and it was like a target instead. And it's a person who bullies, not a bully.
So you're able to take those lessons and put
Yeah.
them this year and next year and year after year.
Yeah.
How about you? What was your, what do you think was the biggest lesson you learned from it, and also what you're seeing in your classmates this year?
I think it's the same thing as Libby because, like, I don't know how long it was before when we did it, but now I feel like it's way better, our classroom, because
It's hard. You're
It's
getting
hard,
along
yeah.
better now and
Yeah.
learning how to deal with conflict and to how to treat your peers and when there's conflict and how to navigate that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm really excited that you guys got to participate last year and that you got to come here because to me it's a testament to Mr. Mike's work in the classroom, but also your work in the classroom that you were able to learn those lessons and carry them throughout the rest of your life and the rest of your school years. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to come.
Yeah, and thanks for participating, and you're all done. See how quick and easy that was?
Yeah.
We hope you'll come to the premiere. It'll be Thursday, November 14th at the Grove Recital Hall.
You know, what I like to tell people about Cheap Fitness is you'll never get bored here and you'll never be judged. My top priority is making sure people feel welcome here, no matter your age, experience, or ability. The majority of new people that come through our door, they've never even put on a boxing glove. That's why our staff is here to help you and show you through the ropes.
It's hugely empowering. I mean, you walk out and you feel like you've accomplished something.